Welcome back to this course, Introduction to Cybersecurity. This is a presentation of coding boot camps. Introduction to Application Security. How to secure applications. Our topics: what is cybersecurity? Why is application security important? Application security checklist. We're going to discuss SQL injection or SQL injection, and we are going to just look at an example of SQL injection. We're not going to learn how to perform SQL injection. So what we have learned so far, we had our intro to cybersecurity in encryption algorithms and computing device security. So cybersecurity is that body of technologies, strategies, processes, best practices, designed to protect networks, computing devices, computers, programs, data, databases from attack, damage, or unauthorized access. Ensuring cybersecurity requires coordinated efforts throughout the enterprise and the information system. So we need to secure the network, we need application security, we need information security, and this can be maybe information around the office that may not necessarily be in some kind of a database. Maybe it's accounting information that is confidential. Operational security, also disaster recovery. Suppose there is a fire and we need to be able to back up our systems on a regular basis so we can have business continuity. Also end user education. Web application security is the process of protecting websites and other online services against security threats that exploit vulnerabilities in the application code. Common targets for web application attacks are content-based management systems like a WordPress product, database administration tools, and software as a service applications. And the reason why these web applications have some vulnerabilities is because they're public. And if you're using software as a service that is generally being managed offsite, you have a secure connection, but it does not mean that a malicious third party cannot get to the software as a service or a cloud application. So web applications tend to be a favorite target of hackers because they're public. They are information outside of the firewall for the enterprise, but still connected to the company's or the enterprise's system. So if code is poorly written, hackers can exploit application layer loopholes and initiate an attack. They can bring back data. They can cause the website to malfunction. They can cause the web application to go offline. If the code is complex, it increases the likelihood of unintended vulnerabilities, accidentally introducing a vulnerability without even realizing it, and malicious code manipulation. So some leading web application attacks: SQL injection, cross-site scripting, remote file inclusion, and cross-site request forgery. So some leading attacks on our web applications, on our websites, could be broken authentication, forging a request and then getting a legitimate response back from a website, broken access control. Again, SQL injection is sending actually database commands in through the website, in through the browser, with the hope that that query actually runs on that database and returns data literally back to the browser. Cross-site scripting involves injecting computer code, web browser scripting code in the event of hopefully getting some information, maybe on the names of some databases or on other key aspects of the application that can be exploited. And remote file inclusion would be to try to get the website to execute a file that could potentially provide access to a malicious third party. So the countermeasures to this include web application firewalls, pop-up blockers, again, cryptography, and spyware detection programs. So a lot of scanning for software that should not be running, access that should not be running, and encrypting information. Hardware countermeasures include routers, network routers that can prevent the IP address of individual computers to be visible on the internet. That's something that can definitely be exploited. Authentication systems that identify third-party hosted content and then keep that application safe. And intrusion detection alerts and alarms. Behavioral countermeasures include frequent deletion of stored cookies or temporary files from web browsers. These can be dangerous because if they are gotten a hold of, that can give access to a malicious third party. Regular installation of update and patches for operating systems. Regular scanning for viruses and malware and other bots or anything else that may be running that the user is not aware of, and refraining from opening email messages and attachments from unknown senders. A little bit about SQL injection. It is a very popular, it's funny to use the term popular, it is a very common type of an attack, and users have still been using it to this day. Also known as SQLI. It's a common attack again. They use database code, structured query language code for the backend database to manipulate access to information that was not intended to be displayed. So the attacker can actually send in database programming code in from the database with the hope of maybe returning an error. Sometimes an error will say, will give some information about the system being contacted. It'll let the hacker know that, all right, they're making some progress. At least they're hitting the system to the point where it's returning an error. And the purpose of the code is to create an SQL statement to select a user with a given user ID. And you can see here what's going on here. We are looking for a user ID on the system. Sometimes, or many times, database and application developers will use very intuitive names, which makes life easier for everyone, like customer database that keeps customer data, user database keeps user data. It allows the system to be clearer to others that are maintaining it. However, hackers also know that those are very common practices, and then can send in commands, select from users, select from customers, and possibly return customer data or user data. So in this session, we learned again about cybersecurity. We learned about application security and why it's important, the application security checklist, and we learned about SQL injection. In our follow-up session, we're going to discuss network security, types of network security, and network security jobs. Again, our follow-on courses, take a look at these: the Linux operating system, blockchain cybersecurity, and Python programming. Thank you again for watching this video, and it's a presentation of Coding Bootcamps. Stay tuned for our next set of videos.